Hey everyone, welcome. I'm going to go over day 4 of Strixhaven spoilers. There's quite a few cards today. Some good, some not so good, but we'll see what they're all like. Just as a reminder, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. You could also follow me at twitch.tv/Jarvis_Moonbeam, on Twitter and on Instagram at Jarvis_Moonbeam. And join my Discord. The link will be in the description of the video below. But let's get into these cards. We'll see what they're all like and go from there. The first card we have is Magma Opus. It's 6 a blue and a red. That's an instant that it deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. You then also tap 2 permanents. You create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token, and you draw 2 cards. It does have some flexibility in it, that for is it, you can discard it and create a treasure token. So 8 mana is a lot. But let's break it down. 4 damage. 4 damage, it's by itself is about a 2 or 3 mana cost. Tapping 2 permanents. That's probably also about a 3 mana cost. So let's say we're at 6 mana right there. A 4/4 blue and red elemental creature, that's 4 mana. So we're already up to like 10 mana. Draw 2 cards, typically about 2, if not more. Some, like if you look up Behold the Multiverse, that was a Scry 2, draw 2 was 4. So you're probably like 2 or 3 mana. So you're really getting like 12 to 13 mana's worth of spells on this 8-drop spell. But 8 mana is a lot to go and spend and use in most formats other than EDH. Where it's nice and flexible is that discard and create a treasure token. It's not going to make sense for most decks because creating a treasure token, getting 1 mana for 2 isn't really the value that most people want to get, especially if you're not getting anything else by losing a card. So it's really a disadvantage. However, in a deck like Riel, Brawl and Shabraz, any of the decks that take advantage of you discarding a card, this is actually worth it. Because it's not just that you're getting that treasure token, you're also getting other value from it. Green Igneous, Tuna Red. We all know this. It's an elemental. It's a 2/2. For a red, you return it to its hand for 2 color, and you add 2 colorless and a red. You can activate this ability only time you cast a sorcery. We have a Storm card. Yay. Mono red Historic Storm is gonna be a thing. You can even play, except for the fact that they haven't printed a good Storm payoff yet in Standard, and I don't know if they will. You could even play Storm in Standard. Mono red, you're gonna play Mono Red Storm. You can make with Bergie. You can go and make have infinite ETBs with this. I was gonna say make infinite mana, but you can't make infinite mana because the red pays for it. But yeah, infinite ETBs. Crazy. Combat Professor. 3 and a white. Bird Cleric. 2/3 with flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains vigilance until end of turn. This is a fantastic card in Limited because its floor is a 3/3 vigilant flyer. That's the floor of the card. Now, the ceiling depends on what other cards you draft, but you're not going to get much better than a flying vigilant 3/3 flyer. Even though it is 4 mana, but it's a common, so what do you expect? Elemental Summoning. 3 is it? Sorcery. That's also a lesson. Create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. So I said elemental creatures would be about a 4 CMC in the other card. This is 5. So right around there. Expression Rehearsal. Blue-red sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them to your hand, 1 at the bottom of your library. Then exile the rest. Until next turn, you may play the exile card. So 2 mana, draw 1, bottom 1, gain card advantage. So that is really 2 mana, draw 2, and Scry. Is essentially where it becomes. This is a really good card. It should see play. If it's being played, this is going to get played. It's just really good. It's unfortunate it's at sorcery speed, but for 2 mana, getting that kind of advantage is very well worth it. Elemental Evoker, 4, is it? So is it? Orc Wizard 4/4 with Magecraft. Whenever you cast your copy an instant or sorcery spell until end of turn, target creature you control gains. If this creature would leave the battlefield or exile it instead, and when this creature is exiled, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. I'm not a huge fan of this. The only way that this would make sense is if you know you're either killing your opponent's creature or you know that your creature's going to die, then this would be the only way to make sense. I don't see a deck where you build around this, though. In draft, it's a good 4/4 body, though. Kodi Codex is 3 generic mana. It's a legendary artifact creature construct. That's a 1/4. You can't cast permanent spells. For 4 generic and tapping it, you add Wooburg. When you cast your next spell this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an instant or sorcery card with lesser mana value. Until end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put each other card exiled this way on the bottom of your library in random order. This is only a commander card. I don't see how this is going to see play in any other format. I hate this card. It looks like it's fun design space. It really is. But other than designing a deck specifically around this card, it's not going to be very good. Especially the fact that you have to spend 4 mana to get only to ramp 1. And you can't cast permanents. It's just not good. Now, if you have a way to untap it, you do have infinite mana of every color. So there's that. Creative Outburst, 3, 2 blue and 2 red. Instant, it deals 5 damage to any target. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest of them bottom in random order. For is it? You can discard it and create a treasure token. Sorry about the yawning. I'm doing this right after I woke up this morning, so still not completely awake. This is a total of 7 mana to deal 5 and draw the best card out of your top 5. Not really worth it. It is an instant, so that does help, but I don't want to pay 7 mana for those 2 effects combined. Yet again, the same thing I said for the other card about creating a treasure token and discarding a card, same thing applies here. Solve the equation for 2 and a blue. It's a sorcery. You search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. So, blue doesn't have a lot of tutors. Most of blue's tutors are search for instant or sorcery, or search for artifact, or search your opponent's library, or search your player's library and exile a card. Even with that all being said, I wouldn't play this card in Commander at all because I'd rather use the other way that blue tutors in transmuting. Transmuting is much better than solving the equation. 1, transmuting can't be countered really. It's an ability, and it's not an ability that most people waste their time countering. 2, you get the flexibility of the whatever the card is that you transmute in your hand as well. This isn't going to be played. Sure, it's an uncommon tutor, but it's not a playable uncommon tutor. Mage Hunter, 3 and a black. This is a horror that looks very similar to other cards. But anyway, it's a 3/4 that whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose 1 life. I will play this in Limited. I don't know if I'd play this in Constructed. I'd have to see how much Spell Slingers are taken off, but I would play this in Limited just because it's a 4-drop for 3/4 for 4. Explosive Welcome, 7 and a red, instant that it deals 5 damage to any target and 3 damage to any other target, and you get 3 of your mana back. So it's essentially 5 mana, deal 5, and then deal 3. You get 3 out of the 8 mana back. It's okay. It's going to take a long time to get there, but it's okay. Make Your Mark is an instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token, and it has Boros as the casting cost. This can be a difference maker in Limited because, you know, combat tricks are a thing. And the cool thing is, you could, if you know you're going to kill your opponent's creature, or you know your creature is going to die, even after pumping, it is a replacement effect in the 3/2 spirit. This is one of my favorite cards that has been unveiled so far. Wandering Archaic, 5 generic, Avatar. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy, and it's a 4/4. So, you're essentially taxing all of your opponent's spells unless they go and unless they want you to cast the same spell. The reason why I like this card is I like playing my opponent's decks. It's fun for me. It's not going to be as good in practice as I want it to be because most opponents are just going to pay the 2, which will slow them down, but at 5 mana, you're already at a spot where slowing them down isn't making too much of a difference. But I still really like this, and I will probably find a way to play it. Oh, and it also has a backside. Explore the backlands for 3 generic. Each player looks at the top 5 cards of their library, reveals a land card and or an instant or sorcery card from among them. Then put the cards they revealed this way into their hand and the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. Each player gains 3 life. I hate the back of this card. I might play this if I had if I could flash in an opposition agent. Nope, never mind. Let's look at the top 5, not 2. Sorry. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Stop. Bad card. Front's awesome, back is bad. Stonebinder's Familiar is a 1-drop. It is a single white for a 1/1 Spirit Dog. Whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile during your turn, put a 1/1 counter on Stonebinder's Familiar. This ability triggers only once each turn. It only triggers on your turn, and only triggers once. Now, it is a 1-drop, so getting playable 1-drops is a lot of times hard. And with the amount of Adventure, Foretell, Exile, and Cast in the past few sets, including this one, it's easy to trigger. I just don't know how much it's going to be played, but it is easier to trigger. Galazeth Prismari, 2 a blue and a red, has flying. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. And artifacts you control have add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. It's a 3/4. So, This does what Urza does, but it only lets you cast instants or sorceries. Doesn't end up creates mana of any color, not just blue. It's no secret that I love treasures, so I will be putting this in my treasure deck. If you build an artifact deck that also spell slinger, this is going to make a lot of sense. And this is spell slinger is a big thing. Is it artifacts is a big thing. So you should be able to make a deck that works with this in Commander. In Standard, it might be a little rough, but this is so far my favorite dragon. We still haven't seen the Witherbloom dragon yet, though. Tenazir Quandrix, 3 a green and a blue. Flying Trample. When it enters the battlefield, double the number of +1/+1 counters on a target creature you control. And whenever it attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to its power and toughness until end of turn. So, if you're playing +1/+1 counters, and you're playing the ones that have base toughness 1 or 2, this works really well. If you have a way to pump this works really well. I just don't like the card that much. I think it's better than the Silver Quill Dragon, but I don't think it's as good as the Laurel Hold or the Prismari Dragon. Multiple choice, X and a blue. If X is 1, scry 1, then draw a card. If X is 2, you may choose a player. They return a creature they control to its owner's hand. If X is 3, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If X is 4 or more, do all of the above. So, for 5 mana, you can scry 1 and draw a card, bounce a creature, and get a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Seeing the fact that there was a sorcery earlier that was an uncommon, I believe, or a common, you're going to pay 5 mana by itself for that blue and red elemental creature token. This is great value. It really is. If you have an infinite mana outlet, which, I love talking about infinite mana because I do my best to create that in every deck I can, with a card like Archaeomancer, you could completely just loot this, draw your entire deck, and have an entire board of blue and red elemental creature tokens. Otherwise, I might play that in other decks as well. The one card that isn't a 2-color card, this is a 3-color card. Exetus or Reek Overlord, 1 white and 2 black. It's a human warlock that has double strike, that's a 2/4. And whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, return target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I like that recursion. That recursion is a lot of fun. I can see it doing work. Especially considering Awaken the Blood Avatar is what the back card side of this card is. It's a sorcery that has an additional cost to cast a spell. You may sacrifice any number of creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. And when you do it, each opponent sacrifices a creature, and you create a 3/6 black and red avatar creature token with haste. Whenever this creature attacks, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. So, if you find a way to cast a spell, and your opponent only has 1 creature, you're getting in for 6 damage. Because he has to sacrifice, they have to sacrifice that creature. These cards work really nicely together. This is going to be a brew round for a lot of people. It might even be a brew round for me. Igneous Inspiration, Tuna Red. It deals 3 damage to any target, and it learns. So, this isn't going to be a standard playable card, but this is going to be a limited bomb, because learning and limited is going to be very much worthwhile. Baleful Domain, 3 and a black. It's an instant that you may pay 1 and a black instead, and if you only play 1 and a black, an opponent draws a card, and you exile a target creature or planeswalker. I can see this being played instead of spells like Heartless Act or Eliminate. If you're talking paying the full mana cost, I'd still rather Eat to Extinction, because Eat to Extinction is essentially exile and then surveil. But I can see this taking the place of like Heartless Act or Eliminate in some decks, and giving the opponent that card advantage. Rutha, Mercurial Artist. 1, a blue and a red, Orc Shaman. It's a 1/4 that for 2 generic, you return it to its owner's hand. And you copy target instant or sorcery spell you control, you may choose new targets for the copy. That's really good. I like that a lot. Don't know how much it's going to see play. And his spell slinger deck is definitely going to come out of this set coming out. And this would see play in there. This would be a fun build around commander as well. Practical Research. For 3, a blue and a red, you draw 4 cards. Then discard 2 cards unless you discard an instant or sorcery card. Don't really like it. Don't like it at all. I wouldn't play this anywhere. Another of the campuses, the Prismari campus, enters tapped, gives you mana fixing by tapping for blue or red, and for 4 generic, you scry 1. Prismari Pledge Mage. Is it? Orc Wizard with Defender. It's a 3/3 that has Magecraft, which it can attack the turn as though it didn't have Defender. Not very good. Limited playable, but not playable anywhere else. Spectacle Mage, 1, a blue and a red. Let's just talk about how adorable that owl is. So adorable. It's a 2/2 with flying that whenever in that instant and sorcery spells you cast with mana value 5 or greater costs 1 less to cast. It's a flyer though, so good limited card. These flyers are good and limited. But the 5 or greater, 1 less, don't know. I don't think that right now it's playable. Defend the Campus, 3 and a white. Choose 1. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Good limited card, probably not played anywhere else. And I know those creatures are horrors, but they really remind me of other creatures. Ambitious Poet, 1 and a black. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 life if you deal against line until end of turn. It's a 2/1. It's okay. Probably yet again a decent limited card, but not playable anywhere else. Deep Disappointment, 3 and a black. Each player loses 2 life and you draw 2 cards. I like this card a lot. Because you're punishing yourself and your opponent, but you get to draw 2 cards. I just don't know if 4 mana is worth it, but I like it a lot. I'll probably play it in limited, probably won't play it in standard or commander. But yeah, I appreciate it. Ibat, for a black, its creature type is Ibat. It's a 1/1 that has flying, and when it dies, you get to learn. I'll play this in limited. It's not good anywhere else, but I'll play it in limited. Clever Lumomancer is 1 white. That's a 0/1, and whenever you cast it or copy an instant or sorcery, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. That could be really good in the right kind of deck. I actually kind of like it. It could end up seeing standard play. Definitely going to be played in a limited deck. Sudden Breakthrough, 1 and a red. Instant, target creature gets +2/+0 gains first strike until end of turn. And you get to create a treasure token. Yay, treasure. So it's essentially 1 mana. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Decent. Culminations of Studies, X, blue, red. Exile the top X cards of your library. For each land card exiled this way, create a treasure token. For each blue card exiled this way, draw a card. For each red card exiled this way, Culmination of Studies deals 1 damage to each opponent. I still cannot tell you what I make of this card. It feels like there's combo potential with it, but having to exile your library or cards from your library for this kind of advantage, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't tell you. Someone might break it and this could be the next big thing. Or it could do what I really think it's going to do and it just fail. But it's one of those cards that it's wait and see what happens. Resculpt, 1 in a blue. It's an instant. You exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. So this I could see being played in Commander. The reason why I can see this being played in Commander is for this other card I have right here. Pongify. This is essentially Pongify for 1 more mana, except you exile it, and it's a 4/4. With Pongify, you destroy and they get a 3/3. So, where mana efficiency is everything in CDH, so this Resculpt probably won't get played. In Mono Blue, in regular EDH, this is going to get played. Especially with it being an exile effect. Pretty nice. I wouldn't play it in Limited unless you exile one of your own things, like a treasure token or a 1/1. But I would play it in EDH in a Mono Blue deck for sure. Maelstrom Muse, 1 blue. Is it red? That casting cost is so ugly. It's a Djinn Wizard. That's a 2/4. Flying, that whenever it attacks, the next instant or sorcery you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X's Maelstrom Muse's power as this ability resolves. So, as long as you don't have any effects, you save 2. Pretty nice. Is it Spellslinger deck is going to be a thing? This could be good in that deck. In the end, it's a flyer. That's a 2/4 for 4. I just hate the casting cost up there. Frost Trickster is 2 in a blue. Bird Wizard, 2/2. Then when it enters the battlefield, tap target creature and put on controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's next on-tap step. So it's Frostlink, but it's a bird. Teaching of the Archaics, 2 in a blue. It's a lesson. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw 2 cards. Draw 3 cards instead if an opponent has at least 4 more cards in hand than you. So, this card sucks. And the fact that it's a rare is bullshit. It's a situational draw 2. You're already at the point that if you're spending 3 mana to draw 2 because you're behind in the game, you have bigger problems. This is probably one of the worst rares of the set. Quandrus Campus. It's like all the other campuses where it taps for its colors and then you can scry. Golden Ratio, 1 a green and a blue. Draw a card for each different power among creatures you control. So, this is 3 mana. That all you need to do is have a 1/1 and a 2/2 and you draw 2 cards. That's easier to go and hit than relying on your opponents to have more cards than you. Especially when you're playing a color that specializes in drawing cards. This card is actually pretty decent. Don't know how much you're offering to get more than like 3 cards out of it. You're probably typically average is going to be between 1 and 3. I like this a lot. I do. And in a creature-based deck, I would play this. Even in Commander, I would play this. Kelpie Guide is 2 and a blue. Tap it, untap another target permanent you control. Tap it to tap target permanent. Activate only if you control 8 or more lands. It's a 2/2. It's okay, I guess. You could look at it as mana fix or mana ramp because you to untap one of your lands. Once you get to 8 lands, a repeatable tap effect is really nice. This could make a big difference in limited. Don't think it's going to be played in standard at all. Might even be played in Commander, but I don't think so. But that is the final card. Tell me what I got right. Tell me what I got wrong. Tell me what you think about all these cards. Hopefully you're enjoying these set reviews. But until next time, have a good one.